Kessler a screen. Kicks it to George from outside the arc. Claxton with a rebound. Brooklyn has gone 1 of 2 from three-point land so far. Here's Morales. And the Nets, another three!
Don't want to let him get into a rhythm from out there.
For Utah, they've gone 1 for 3 so far. All right, guys, we're lucky to have Shams Charania joining us now. Our 2K insider calling in with a story. What do you got, Shams?
Well, the Jazz have traded away a lot of their veterans. All-star Lauri Markkanen still remains. After a down-shooting season a year ago, perhaps he needs to build his value back up around the league before they would consider moving him.
He can heat up in a hurry. Appreciate the update. Thanks, Shams. First quarter, just about 2 minutes in. Here's Sensabaugh. Utah moving the ball around. For three, George. That doesn't go either for George.
Hey, he hasn't been at his best this quarter. I'd like to see him be a little more patient.
Oh, nice one-handed jam there, B.A.
Hey, little exclamation point. Gives us a chance to catch up with Allie LaForce.
Well, Jordy Fernandez and I got a chance to talk for a bit. We talked about Lauri Markkanen, and I asked him how he wanted his players to guard him tonight, and he said we can't afford to lose sight of him out on the perimeter because he's a big that can really shoot it, especially when he's operating in the pick and roll. It'll be interesting to see how Markkanen fares against them in this one. Back to you, B.A.
Appreciate the report, Allie.
Wow, their opponent is doing a tremendous job spacing the floor.
George outside. Back to Markkanen from the arc. Another three for Utah.
Great response three from Markkanen. He's got such a fluid motion. You always think it's going in for him.
Here's Morales. 14 points for him. Shot clock at 6. Pass to Thomas. Launches a three. Stolen by Kessler. Fast break. Here we go. And Markkanen with the stuff.
Markkanen showing his athleticism, soaring to hammer home the alley-oop.
The Nets with the lead. 1:10 left in the first. Claxton passes to Morales. Claxton a screen on George. Back to Claxton. Stolen by Kessler. Now George. He picked up 10 in his last game. Ooh, can't tie it up as that one's no good.
It's been an ugly quarter for him. Trying to shoot his way out of it. Might be time to work on the playmaking skills.
No one covering. Morales has got 17 points.
Just incredible. I mean, he's really making it rain out there, knocking them down one after another.
Well, what I love about his three-point shooting is the spacing that he's adding. It makes things a lot easier for everyone else.
1 second separating the shot clock and the game clock. Pass to Sensabaugh. George outside. Charity stripe shot, and he knocks the jumper down.
And he's a crafty scorer for a young player. George is always going to find the gaps in the defense.
Here's Morales. And again, it's Brooklyn from deep. And so it's the Brooklyn Nets with a 6-point lead at the close of the quarter. Hey, 3 points is better than 2. They've built this lead by tacking on. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast so far. Game we've seen from Brooklyn.
Well, it seems like they went in looking to do damage from long. Long range.
Timeout by Jordy Fernandez here. And we might see some changes. Coach potentially looking to adjust. And we played just over a minute of basketball in the second quarter. Here's Demet. The rebound by the Jazz. Outplayed in the previous game on their schedule. They lost to the Rockets.
I'll tell you what, once things started to go downhill, their performance plummeted. It wound up getting pretty ugly.
Yeah, they just committed too many mistakes at both ends. But credit their opponent for being disruptive.
Pass to Morales. On the wing, Porter. Here's Morales. Porter a screen. The three is up. Sends it home from three-point land. And the Nets lead by 9.
A dozen consecutive points off of threes. This defense looks rattled.
Down low. Porter with the steal. Let's check in with our reporter, Allie LaForce.
ABA, a big win here or there can really sustain a rebuilding team. And Utah coach Will Hardy said the results matter in order to keep belief in your process. Seeing the work pay off.
And again for three.
Well, folks, if you haven't been following his story since coming into the league, for all-time NBA rookies, he's now 5th place in three-pointers made.
He's worked on his craft, improved even in his short time here in his rookie season. He's got that beautiful touch from deep, and that's not the only way he can score, that's for sure. For Lauri Markkanen, a really talented scorer, Stan, how do you think he's fared with more responsibility?
Yeah, I think he's done very well. He's a prototypical stretch four who scores at an efficient rate, and with his elevated role, he's just grown in his confidence.
Yeah, in the paint, Nurkic can be a monster. He's got all the physical gifts he needs to dominate.
They set the pick. Morales passes to Sharp, and he dunks it down.
He may give up a little size, but has the bounce to hold his own.
Here's Collier, yet to see a basket. And a little under 3.5 minutes elapsed here in the second quarter. Pass to Nurkic. Over Sharp, and Nurkic with the bucket on the assist from Collier.
Well, after a silent first quarter, this is who they needed him to be. This is why you never count a guy out.
And Jordi Fernandez wants a timeout. He's going to take a minute to regroup with his players. A different look here for Utah. Kessler comes in for Jusuf Nurkic, and it's Keyonte George in for Collier. We've got 1:28 left in the second period. Here's Morales. Against Chicago, he was really on his game.
They're getting torched on the perimeter. 4 of the last 5 buckets have been threes.
George for 3. Controls the rebound and the putback.
Well, gobbling up boards is what Kessler does best. Got some points out of that one, too.
Nets leading by 11. Outside for Porter. And the Nets, another 3.
And this is what you want to do when you've got a big lead. You must stay aggressive.
Yeah, they're being absolutely relentless. Building this lead in every way possible.
Markkanen from long range. Kessler passes to Bailey. Markkanen for 3. Claxton with a rebound.
Well, the defense got lucky there. More often than not, he's making that shot.
To the middle. And Claxton throws it down.
He can really read the floor. Precision pass in rhythm.
.23 seconds left to play in the second quarter. Here's George. And he gets it to fall. 3 for 8 in this one.
With that shot in his bag, George doesn't have to get all the way to the rim.
From behind the arc. Morales can't hit. Fires from way outside. No good. Would have counted had it gone. And so it's Brooklyn up 14 as we wrap up the quarter. And they've got a comfortable lead in large part due to their three-point shooting. More 2K action in just a moment.
And hello, everybody. What an amazing first-half performance it's been for the Brooklyn Nets.
The defense should get a talk. They've been getting splashed on all game. And I'm just sitting back watching the show.
And next up, we have the award winners, our Players of the Month in the East and the West. Out of the West, Nico. Glad you could join us, Ryan.
Just about ready for the second half here. A big comeback is needed for this game to be competitive, and it probably has to happen quickly. In this league, you've got to have moves and counter moves. Grant, your toolkit was pretty complete coming in.
Well, I tried to keep adding to it. It's like baseball. If they're struggling to hit your heater, that changeup will work even better.
The tandem on the perimeter, Thomas and Porter Jr. Nicholas Claxton out there with Sharp, and it's Morales in at the point guard position. So that's the Nets 5. And it goes out of bounds. Last touch by George. And Brooklyn with possession here. They'll be playing host to New Orleans for their next one. It'll be game number 2 in their 5-game homestand. Good ball movement here by Brooklyn. Here's Morales. Nails it from beyond the arc. Morales has got 29 points.
This defense just can't stay connected to shooters.
Now here's George. He has 6. Ooh, Markkanen, confident from long range.
Markkanen is a shooter. Comes right back down to answer the 3 on the other end.
Well, Lauri Markkanen comes from a family full of athletes.
Oh, yes, indeed, B.A. Lauri's mom and dad were both pro basketball players, and so was one of his brothers. And his other brother is a professional soccer player, so it definitely runs in the family.
Pass to Sensabaugh. Launches it. Brooklyn with the board.
Nice rebound. Trying to match the other team's intensity right now.
Here's Morales. That's 29 for him. Puts up a 3. Connects again from distance. Buries his 10th triple of the game.
Unbelievable, B.A. Unbelievable.
George with it. An effective score for them, scoring around 21.5 points a game.
Well, they're behind, but it's certainly not because of him. He's doing everything he can. He just needs more help from his teammates.
Sharp passes to Morales. Sharp a screen on George. Back to Sharp. Fires the 3. The rebound by Markkanen.
Well, that one didn't fall, but otherwise they've been excellent shooting the ball to start this half.
Out to the right wing. Beyond the arc. Drops in the 3. Sensabaugh's got his second bucket on the night.
And making 3 of their first 4 shots in this half is a strong start. Now it's about growing that momentum.
A moment here to see the numbers for Lauri Markkanen.
And he's been outstanding offensively as of late. These last 5 games, he's been a beast at the offensive end. A different level score than he had been earlier in the season. Let's see if he can keep it up. Clutch buckets. He's paving the way as they hit the home stretch.
Jazz trail by 16. George passes to Markkanen. Here's Bailey. Takes the assist and lays it in. Nice setup. Bailey's got his first points of the night.
Yeah, for this coaching staff, they want Bailey operating in the paint. I mean, he's got athleticism and touch.
Morales can't hit. And so George will bring it up for Utah. And after this game wraps up, they're off to New York to take on the Knicks. That'll be the second of 2 games on the road. Markkanen sets a screen. Fires the 3. Oh, and again, it's the Jazz from deep.
Easy look when the defender isn't fighting over the screen.
Yeah, it's certainly worth it to disrupt the offense. Coaches notice that extra effort.
Pass to Porter. Here's Morales. Driving inside. Sharp passes to Thomas. Shot clock at 5. Drops one in from the wing. And the Nets lead by 13.
Well, for him, it hasn't been a big night. With his reputation, they've used him more as a decoy.
So both teams changing it up here. Now let's check out the Western Conference standings and see how they look here in December. You look at the Jazz. Going with an almost entire new group here. Kessler, he's checked in for Yusuf Nurkic. Lauri Markkanen comes in for Filipowski. Bailey's checked in for Mikhailuk. And Sensabaugh subbed in for Collier. And we're about 2 minutes into the fourth here. Here's Morales. And it's flushed down. A nice jam.
Look at what he's doing here, and it's hard to imagine him playing much better.
The Jazz have gotten 5 of their 7 shots to fall in this final quarter. So on the floor for Utah, Markkanen and Kessler are the big men. Then there's Keontae George. Then it's Bailey. And it's Sensabaugh in at the 2. Thomas, that's good.
And Thomas gets it done from anywhere, including when he's this close to the rim.
George scanning the floor. And for most NBA teams, the draft is the best path to acquiring an NBA superstar. But it's not enough to get that high pick. You've got to get that one right, Stan.
Absolutely, B.A. And look, some of them are easy. Some of the top picks just stand out, and they're really, really easy. But some of them are very, very difficult, and especially as you move down even to the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th picks. And the guys that hit on those are the guys that end up with the stars.
There's a minute 59 left in the fourth. On the wing man. Here's Morales. George defending. Morales can't hit. The Jazz have gone 6 for 9 here in the fourth quarter. To the inside. Markkanen outside. Pass to Sensabaugh. Utah moving the ball around. Markkanen misses.
And I'm surprised that didn't go down. I mean, I'm sure he is too. Well, the scoreboard tells you everything you need to know about this one. A great showing here for the Nets.
And it was a big-time performance across the board. They looked like they were having fun out there, Grant.
Yeah, B.A., it was almost like watching a cat play with a mouse. I mean, they did pretty much anything they wanted to do out there today.
And they really wanted this one. It pushes their win total up to 21.
And with this one all but in the record books, they set the tone in the first of what will be only 2 meetings between these teams.
Here's Morales. Banked it in off the glass. Morales has got 40 points.
That's an inspired ball club. They fought hard, and during the most important moments, they made big plays.
Yeah, they saved their best basketball for this home stretch, and they certainly earned this one.
And finished off by Kessler.
Well, what I love about Walker Kessler, he's a 7-footer who plays like a 7-footer.
6-second difference between the shot clock and game clock. And that one's good. Morales.
Impressive job by this team. And you really can't discount the impact of this crowd here.
No, I'd be lying if I said the crowd doesn't have an impact. It's certainly felt from the head coach all the way down.
George for 3. It doesn't go for him. Brooklyn calls timeout. They lead by 28. Your thoughts, guys?
Interesting timeout with this game mostly in the bag.
Well, they could be trying to just make a change just so their subs can close this game out.
And so it's Brooklyn easily grabbing this one. Well, this might not have been the most competitive game we've ever seen, but you've got to appreciate their masterful performance.
And I'm sure their fans appreciated it too. we saw the outstanding defense and a loaded offensive effort. They were just dominant out there.
All right, let's send it over to the sidelines to Jennifer Quintana.
We're here with MP after a strong win. What did you see that you liked?
Guys were setting solid screens, diving for loose balls, and boxing out. We did a nice job on the boards, too, and that's always going to give you a chance. I feel like a few rebounds.
EA, over to you.
Okay, Jennifer, thanks a lot. And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. Alongside Stan Van Gundy.
Wow. So that was the Bailey dude everyone had been talking about all this time. Him? Seriously? Not impressed. Dude is still raw.
You think it's fair to say that Europe helped you move past him as a prospect?
Not on the draft boards, obviously, but in real life, yeah, it did. He'd have been better off going to Europe or the G League. Like, for real. Who was the last big-time hooper who came out of Rutgers? You? No. I can't name one. What about you, Xander?
Dante Jones. Maybe. Don't quote me on that. That was before he transferred to Duke, though.
Exactly.
So that's fair.